Hey there. Welcome to Discover the Divine You. My name is Kimberly Nicole. Right now I'm on a journey to figure out who the real Kimberly Nicole is, who I was divinely created to be. So I created this podcast in hopes others could benefit from what I'm learning and the different ways I'm connecting with a higher power. I created this space for honest conversations about healing, creativity, spiritual growth, and learning to reconnect with myself while living presently in my life. I'm a mom of 3. I have a job. I'm in 12-step recovery. Real life happens every day. So this is a space of no pressure, no expectations, no perfection, just progress. A journey towards finding peace, clarity, and connection to something bigger than ourselves, going from chaos to calm. So here we go. I'm so glad you're here to take this journey with me. Let's get creative. Episode 24, Fellowship. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is Kimberly Nicole. This is Discover the Divine You. Today, in our 90 podcasts in 90 days, we are going to discuss fellowship. Reminds me of scholarship from the Breakfast Club. So, fellowship, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? I'm rocking my side 80s top pony today. I'm kind of digging it. It's a good vibe for me. So fellowship, that's like something you hear all the time. Like you could get a fellowship through a college. You hear fellowship a lot in program. And I honestly had to Google what fellowship even is. When I did Google it, I was right. I like that I was right. Let me move this a little bit. Nope, maybe sort of. There we go. So fellowship is, has to do with school things, and it also is just about basically building a community of people with like-minded interests or goals or focus. And so that makes total sense with 12 steps. We're all there for mostly the same reason. We're all trying to be the higher power, and we're all self-medicating deep wounds that we do not know how to handle, and we are not equipped to do on our own. So we need a fellowship. We need a group of like-minded people to get us through and guide us and just support us and love the heck out of us until we can learn how to love ourselves. And that's a really important aspect to the 12 steps, is feeling included. There's a line that says welcome home in one of the meetings I go to, and it gets me every time, because the 12 steps, this 12-step meetings were the first places where I could be myself. I could be honest. I could say the most insane, ridiculous things, and people didn't try to kick me out or tell me I was weird or stupid or crazy. They were just like, we totally understand. And the meetings I go to are just so loving and so compassionate that they're very openly like, hey, we're going to love you till you learn to love yourself, period. And what a gift that is. Total strangers willing to love me with 0 conditions, knowing how completely insane I am. I mean, where else are you going to find that? I don't know. If you know, let me know. Because, they are helping you talk about your stuff, getting things out in the open, getting your power back, understanding all these things about your childhood that baffled you up until this point. And they're doing it all for free. You don't have to pay them any money. That blew my mind too, when I was like, okay, how much money do you want? And they were like, none. This is all free. You can donate here if you want to, but no pressure. You're more important than your money. What? That was like a novel concept for me, money always seemed to be the most important thing in life. It was definitely more important than people a lot. As far as I not necessarily saw or narrated, but there's a word I'm looking for that's perfect for this that I can't think of right now. But that was my understanding, was that money and things were more important than people. And there's a lot of reasons why I came to that conclusion, but I just always felt less important than everything else and everyone else. And that's not true. It's not true. And it took working my 12 steps several times for me to wrap my cute little head around that, because it was very easy for me. Gosh, this shirt is made funny. I'm like feeling my ADHD like sensory happening right now. So sorry, I will focus. Here we go. Fellowship. So in finding out that like I am important, that I am enough, I have enough, and I do enough, that was a gift that no other person, place, or thing was able to give me except for the 12 steps. And I often say, if every person on the planet worked a 12-step program to the best of their abilities, this world would be glorious. Be so much happier. So many people would get along that normally would not mix. I mean, it's a pretty special group of people, a special place, and I hope it never goes away. I hope there are always people ready and willing to work and be a part of this fellowship, because it is work. It is work to be a part of a fellowship. You know, we don't always see eye to eye. We don't always understand the other person's reasonings or opinions or whatever. And that's why we have traditions. That's why we have steps. You know, that's why we have group consciences, which is just like a business meeting, basically, like a family meeting. And we talk about stuff that might be bothering us or things we think need to improve or whatever. But if we didn't have those traditions, there's no way these rooms would still exist, at least not happily. And 12 steps are meant to remove pressure, to release drama, not add to it. You know, they're there for healing. They're there for growth. They're there for love and peace and acceptance. They're not there for the opposite of those things. Those things really don't exist in any of the meetings I go to. The opposites of the good things, I mean. They're all the meetings that I attend, which is, you know what? That's why I started this 90 and 90. This is a perfect segue to why I'm doing this 90 and 90. So I was challenged to do 30 podcasts in 30 days, but I was like, oh, that's interesting, because in the 12-step programs, we really strongly encourage people to go to 90 meetings in 90 days, because then they can get to know the different kinds of meetings and find their tribe, find their people, that their home meeting, it's sometimes called. So then that way they you know, went on lots of dates before they chose who they wanted to date, for lack of a better way to explain it. And I never did that. I never did the 90 and 90. I was like, I found this meeting. I friggin' love it. I'm never leaving. Don't tell me what to do. I don't have to go to any other meetings. And since then, you know, the last 7 years, I've gone to tons of meetings, met lots of amazing humans, and I was kind of bummed that I never did 90 and 90. But guess what, guys? I could start a 90 and 90 anytime I want. I could go to 90 meetings in 90 days. But that's just not something that I have the capacity to do at this moment in time right now. But maybe I will. Maybe I will in a month. Maybe I will in a day. I don't know. Maybe I'll start tomorrow. But I like the idea of the 90 and 90. So that's what I went with. And I feel solid about that. And it is a lot more work than I expected it to be. But it's not work. It's fun. It's play. I get to be myself in a safe space and talk to whoever is willing to listen and hopefully help someone by sharing my experience, strength, and hope. And that's what the fellowship is all about, sharing our experience, strength, and hope. Like, you can't keep it unless you give it away. Like, the more you share your time and talents, the more time and talents you get back. I feel like definitely applies in the program. To an extent where you're not burning out and doing it for people pleasing. But when you're doing God's work, you never have to apologize for it. Ever. And I very rarely feel guilty for doing God's work. And that's how I know I'm doing God's work. And, if you're tuning in for the first time and you hear the word God and that freaks you out, that's okay. I use higher power, God, universe, lots of different descriptive words to explain or label my higher power. But my higher power is so much bigger than any of the small words that I can use to describe them. And so is yours. So as far as fellowship goes, I hope you find your fellowship. I challenge everyone today to find or create a fellowship of like-minded individuals that will help you learn and grow and progress in your everyday, not just in program, not just in recovery, not just at work, not just at home, but in your whole life. And I hope that we can create a fellowship here of like-minded individuals who just want to learn and grow and progress together and help each other do it. And so with that, I think I'll pass. I think I'll be done for today and let your higher power guide you the rest of the way. So go co-create with your higher power. Do something fun because you deserve it. And I will see you tomorrow. Hey, thanks so much for being here today. You're my favorite. I'm so glad you came. I know life is busy, so I really do appreciate the time you're taking to do some self-care and hang out with me for a little bit. If something that we talked about today resonated with you and you want to dig a little deeper, I put together a 5-minute creative reset guide called Chaos to Calm that you can access in the show's description. And I would be so grateful if you'd subscribe and share this podcast with someone out there that you think could benefit from what we're creating here together. Also, remember, I am just sharing my experience, strength, and hope as I understand it here. So if bigger emotions come up, please take care of yourself and reach out to a licensed professional or someone that you trust for support. You are not alone in this. So until we create together again, please be kind to yourself and do something creative because you deserve it.